Hey, what's up? It's Fernando on the way home, and this is Odin's TV and movie picks of the week. And the reason why we do this every week is because there are so many streaming choices, and it can be very, very difficult to sift through the stuff and find the good stuff. But Odin's done that work for you. Welcome, Odin.
Hello, glad to be back. And indeed, I try to find all the fun things, especially on weekends when my son gets to watch anything. We are a very strict household, but it also means that now that we're teaching him how to take turns, we're seeing a much wider variety of content these days, which is very nice for me. So,
excellent. All right, are you keeping warm in this cold weather? We're getting cold down here.
I know. I have family in Pensacola, and they got 8 inches of snow.
Wow.
I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana, and so my mom and my brother have been sending me all the pictures and photos of them getting almost 10 inches of snow, blizzard. And I'm just here thinking, wow, I wish we were off from school this week so that I could have driven down to experience this once-in-a-lifetime snow
Right.
in my hometown where it never, ever snowed, like maybe a couple times in my entire life, and now they got more snow than I did this year. So it's just sad. It's just very sad.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know.
Well, what are your picks this week? What you got for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've got a few movies and one show. So the first movie I will mention is actually based off of a show, and I think I've mentioned the show in a previous episode, where it is the show Puffin Rock, but the movie is Puffin Rock and the New Friends. I don't know if you've ever heard of Puffin Rock before.
That sounds like Saved by the Bell, the new class kind of thing. Is that the? No, I've never heard of Puffin Rock, actually.
Oh, it's a really cute show that is comes out of Ireland, and it's a story about literally puffins. So it's this family of puffins, and they've got friends, and so they get to, basically go on these different adventures with each other, have to deal with different situations. And in this movie, it's actually introducing to a bunch of new characters. As the very clever name indicates, the main character has new friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
Puffin Rock and the New Friends. So it was not a very long-running series. I think it only had maybe 1 or 2 seasons. And then it was so popular that they ended up adapting it into a movie. And it's actually a really well-made film. And I think if you like, especially, classic animation style, and you want something just very kind of pleasant to watch, something that you can even have on in the background, Puffin Rock is really for you. And the kids will love it too. It's got great music, great characters, it's funny, and it's something that you will not, as a parent, hate watching, which is always a benefit, especially if you're someone out there who has kids, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So there's some movies and shows where you're like, I really wish they had never found this.
Yeah. What age range is good for Puffin Rock, you think?
Or for Puffin Rock, I think as young as you are, wanting to start allowing your kids to watch TV, that's about as young as you can really start with this. I think
okay.
There really is no minimum. So if you are comfortable with your kids watching them from age 2, then I think that they'll find something in here to enjoy. If you are someone who thinks that maybe they should be a little bit older, I think that probably really up until maybe age 10, 11, maybe even more, could still enjoy the content for Puffin Rock.
Excellent.
Absolutely. And luckily we were able to choose different things this week. And so my choice from this past weekend was a movie from my, actually from my childhood is when it came out, but I never got to see it until later in life. And it's a classic animated film. And in fact, I think it is the last official hand-drawn animation out of Disney or connected to Disney in any way, called Treasure Planet.
Oh, I never saw it, but I'm familiar with it.
Yes, and so I think it actually had a combination of hand-drawn animation with some CG effects, but it was the last movie that ever really did from Disney. It was like the next year where they went full on with like the Pixar and just the more, again, non-hand-drawn animation styles. And so it's very unique in that aspect, and it also didn't do well at the box office because of that. Disney didn't have a lot of faith in it, and it ended up being probably one of the best films they've ever done. So it tells the classic story that you're kind of used to when it comes to Treasure Island, and it instead brings it to space. And that is what's so great about the film, is that it gives you that same classic story, gives it a new spin, and it works really, really well. And it's able to adapt it in certain ways. It's able to kind of build on the relationship a bit more between Mr. Hawkins and Captain John Silver, right? And I think that it does it in such a way that really hits home the story in this movie, which is about family. and who your family actually is, and the impact of a father, especially because John Silver really becomes a father figure for Jim Hawkins throughout the entirety of the movie. And it's really well done. There's some cute characters in there too, and I think that would definitely be a movie that most kids will be able to enjoy. Maybe a little bit older than this one. This is definitely not a Puffin Rock age movie. It is still rated PG, and so I think probably age 4 or 5. My son really liked it. He's 4, so I definitely would recommend Treasure Planet for people. I would give Puffin Rock probably a 7.5 out of 10. It's good, but obviously it's not amazing. This one I'd probably give a 9 out of 10 too, to be honest, because I enjoy it that much.
Excellent. All right. Any other picks for the week, or that's it for you?
Yeah, I have just a quick couple of recommendations. So one, which is it's going to be a love or hate for some, Despicable Me. My son had never watched it before. He's now seen it, and he loves those minions. And it's something that all kids enjoy, but you know what? Warning to parents, some parents will not like them, and that's okay. That's okay. So that one, for me, the first one's, I think, the best, and I'd give that one probably like an 8 out of 10. I think it's a pretty solid movie. And it, again, tells just the story about how family is not just about your blood relations. It tells a great story about adoption, about someone who's changing, right? Someone who starts off as a bad person but becomes a good person, a story of redemption. There's a lot of really great themes that exist throughout it. And then the last thing I'd recommend is actually a show, and this is one where you got to be probably a teenager or a little bit older for this one, but it's a classic. I grew up with it, Smallville. I don't know if you ever watched
I never
Smallville.
watched it. My cousin, I think, got really into it, but I never watched it.
Yes, so it's definitely more so for like a teenage audience and older, but it's one that I think that a lot of people enjoy. If you like, superhero stories, this is a good one that doesn't fall into the typical like MCU stuff that we see in the world today. So if you want something a bit more fresh, a bit more original, it's great. My wife had never seen it before, so I'm watching it with her. And it took her a little bit to get used to it, to get into it, but now she's invested. One warning, though, once it goes into season 4, it seems to shift gears a little bit and becomes a bit more, again, older teen, I would say, as far as appropriate level. But otherwise, again, a very solid show.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Those are Odin's TV and movie picks of the week. Thanks so much for your time, man.
Thank you.